Welcome back everybody, thank you for joining me. I'm Jem and this is my creative space, and welcome to what I hope is going to be the first in a series of Sunday sessions. And this is really about just chilling with me on a Sunday. It's not going to be anything taxing, it's probably not even going to be tutorials or how-tos. It's just going to be a hey, chill and chat, have a craft along with me. Whatever you're doing, whether you happen to be doing the same thing or something different, stick the video on and just relax and watch along, really. So today, and this is going to be, probably a little bit different from any other stuff I've got going on during the weeks. And today, do you know what? I want to get my gel plates out. I have not had my gel plates out for what feels like months. And as some of you will know, if you've been watching my videos, I've been having a really big clear up in my creative space. And I have been kind of purposefully working to use what I have. So it's about clearing everything up, tidying it up, finding what you've got, and then using it. So today I've pulled out this. Now I don't know whether you can see this. If I turn it that way, maybe. Look, it's a box. It's a hot mess. So I'm going to pull this out. This is all my, what I call found objects that are good for gel printing, or potentially good for gel printing. And so you'll see there's a whole load of bits of card in here which are corrugated, and you can see some of these have been used, some haven't, some are different sizes. Oh, I wondered where they were. You see, this is the great thing about clearing up. These are some little stamps that I made myself with texture paste that are great for using on the gel plate. I'm not going to use those today. I will put them to one side, but I'll try and remember to link the video below if you're interested in knowing how to make those. So let's have a very quick sort out. Look at this. You see, I got all these. Oh, okay, that's something different. I'll talk about that in a minute. I'm going to get all excited going through here. You can tell, can't you? God, too much for a Sunday. Right. See, this is another reason for pulling everything out, because you can sort it all out. That's all corrugated card. Something else I have lots of. These are those funny, rubbery, non-slip. They're not really mats. They're sold here as drawer liners, to put in your cutlery drawer and things like that to stop, and your cupboards to stop things sliding around. And we get a couple of different sorts. So there's some bits of those in there. They're great for gel printing. And what else have I got? Oh, let's go back to this one. I'll show you this one. This is one of these, and these two are slightly different actually. But when you go to a bottle store and buy a bottle of spirits, or particularly if you've gone through duty free, if you're flying, you sometimes get these things popped around the bottles. They're like a bottle protector. Now this one and this one feel like kind of polystyrene. They might be that new funky stuff that dissolves when you get it wet. I hope not, because I want to use it. But anyway, one of those I've stretched around a piece of card, and you can use that. What is it? Oh, it's the back of a tissue box. You can use that on the gel plate. This is the same thing. This is a different one. This is it's quite a hard plastic. I haven't tried that one out yet. You'll see, that box, the reason it was a bit of a hot mess was that everything just gets chucked in there. This is similar. Now this is actually falling to pieces. That may have to end up in the bin today. This is a very similar concept, but this comes around our gas bottles, LPG gas. But that really is, I think, coming towards the end of its life. I might just put that to one side for a moment. What else have we got? good old bubble wrap. Bubble wrap, always good for gel printing. Oh, this I've used with some success. This was paper that was wrapped around some flowers, you know, forest paper. And it's got a kind of waterproof feel to it, but it's got this lovely texture. I don't know whether you can see that. Do you know, I had a comment the other day, I wish it was texture vision. And you're right, I wish we could feel sometimes. Oh, that's another bit of the draw liner stuff. So's that. More bubble wrap. You can see I really do need to sort this out. Another piece. What else have we got? Oh, this is kind of a plasticky net. I don't know where it came from. I don't know, but I've got several bits that are of similar sort of ilk. That may have been a big onion bag, and I know that in here somewhere I spotted, yeah, this is your more normal kind of family size. I think that was like an onion sack. This is your sort of more normal family size bag that your onions or other produce come in. Again, that's a bit of square mesh. I think that has come, it's from building supplies. I think it might be to do with when you're plastering walls. Another piece of, there's a piece of lace actually stuck in here. I saw someone the other day gel printing with lace, and it was really effective. And so when I was doing something else and I had a bit left, I thought, oh, I'll stick that in my found objects box. This has come from a chocolate box. Let's have a look. Oh, the pieces of sponge I used for something else. Another piece of packing. You can use those ends or the sides to create. Do you know, when you're looking for things to use, you're just looking for things that are going to create a pattern or texture. These come from ammunition boxes actually. Mr. Jem is a hunter. They come from the boxes of ammo that he buys, and I keep keeping them and thinking there must be something really useful I can do with those. Right, we'll try them on the gel plate today. Oh, this is one of those things that you can stitch through, like when the kids are learning to stitch. I've got a piece of floor mat here, which is just foam. Pill packets. These are from Norfolk pines. They're like the pine cone of the Norfolk pine. And actually, if you can roll those along the gel plate, you get a really interesting pattern. Or there's some more of those. Again, these are both those plastic mesh that you use with children when you're learning to sew. And this is a silicone mat from the kitchen. Don't know what it was for, but it's got that lovely honeycomb texture. Now, other than that, oh, I've got a bit of, what do you call this? Scrim? They cut the sequins from it. And other than that, I have got a selection of tubes which have come from the inside of various things, which are great for making circles, and a couple of corks, same thing. Oh, and a straw. All right, so those are some of the things I'm going to be using today. I may also pop down into the garden and grab some leaves, but I'm going to start with some of these, and I'm really going to play, you know. So I'm going to be doing some gel printing with things that I have found, and this is it's great. If you don't want to go out and buy lots of stencils and things, you don't have to. You can still create the most amazing gel prints just with things that you've got around your house. And I've got one more thing here, which This came from a box of chocolates that we were gifted, and I thought actually that might make quite a cool print. Not sure that I like the noise of it particularly, but so sorry if that irritates, but I thought that might make quite a cool print that way, so I want to try that out as well today. Alright, so I've got those things. I've got a couple of brayers, a big one and a small one. I have actually just sat and peeled my big brayer. It was, yeah, it had got really yucky, and it wasn't working properly, so I've sat and peeled that this morning. I've got a couple of big gel prints, sort of gel plates 8x10 size, and I've got some book pages to roll my brayer off in between. So I'm going to move all this off my desk, pull my gel plates out, and we'll just sit and have a play. All right, I'm going to start off really simply today. I've got a light yellow here. Now when you see me using paints, I have such a variety of different makes. I pick up a lot of paints, or I have recently picked up a lot of paints in op shops. So I use a real variety, and that was a bit more than I wanted. I don't really have any one favourite, I have to say. I just kind of try them and see what happens. So as you can see, I've got a bit of a mixture of white and yellow on there. Just going to give that a smoosh around. I don't want it mixed completely. Quite like the random. This is just, we're going to start a little bit of warm up, get the plates warmed up, get myself warmed up. The plate's not looking great, is it, this morning? So see how this first one comes out. In all honesty, I'm looking today just to, oh, that might be my roller actually, look at that. Let's find my other one. Got another one here. I wasn't going to use that because that's pretty sticky and grungy. I might have to go away and do a little bit of work on my roller. Let's try the big one that we've just cleaned. Ha, that's better. Look at that. Yeah, I'm not really trying to achieve anything particular today. Some painty backgrounds maybe. So what I've done to start with, I've pulled out all some circular things, circular printmaking things. So, and I'm just going to, this is really simple, layer of paint down, make some imprints, and then pull it with another colour. Try a smaller one. These are the middle of we call it FPOS, you know, the card swipey machine. It's the middle of the paper rolls that go in there. I've got one more size somewhere. Oh, here we go. This is the middle of a washi tape roll. Alright, I think that's enough to give us an interesting texture. I'm going to put that just to one side for a few minutes. Now, it's not going to take very long to dry today. It's a warm day here. So I'm just going to swap that over. You'll see I have two, oh, sorry. You'll see I have two gel plates about the same size. These are about 8x10. And what I've done with this one, and I don't know whether this is going to work. This is just me playing, honestly. that's my onion bag. So I've opened it out and I have sort of pressed it onto the gel plate. Now, what colour should we do? Actually, I'm just looking for a minute because some of my paints are thinner than others, and I think when you're using something like this, because basically what I'm doing is I'm using this as a stencil. And I've got a little 5x7 plate here. When you're using a thin stencil, which, you know, as I say, this is really what this is, you don't want a paint that's too runny because it will go underneath it. Ugh. So I'm just going to grab a little bit of that on my roller and we'll see what happens. Pressing quite firmly down just to try and get that paint down through that mesh. There we go. Can you see that on camera? Yeah, that, now look, this is just a book page, and I'm using that as a brayer off sheet. And what I'll do once that one's, you know, got a few layers on, I'll just peel it off and go to the next page, and I'll use those later on. Not today, but later on in the week to make something. Now, of course, what I've got now is paint left on my little plate. The other thing I've found when I've been sorting out is lots and lots of envelopes that I keep collecting, junk mail envelopes. And what I'm going to do today is just to start creating some painty envelopes to use in junk journals. So I'm just going to be picking up any excess paint that I've got on my plates today onto some envelopes, and then maybe later next week, the week after, I'll show what I'm going to do with them. So, there's more room on my desk when I'm doing this. I've given that a moment to dry. Let's carefully take this onion bag off. Ooh, look. Wow, can you see that on the camera? That's quite cool, isn't it? We'll let that dry. Okay, let's test this other one. Yeah, you see, as I say, it's quite a warm day. That's quite thin paint. I've got this one that came in a bag of stuff I bought the other day. This says it's teal green. Let's have a look. Oh, that's quite dark, isn't it? I don't know whether that's what I would call teal. That's a little bit darker than I want. Do you know what? I might use a bit of this one. In fact, I'm going to go nice and bright. I'm going to put a couple of blobs of that. And I've got this one, which is a metal green, it says. And this has got just a little bit of a shimmer to it. That's quite cool. Now, because I'm just sort of wanting to create some backgrounds, I'm really just using a very ordinary paper today. It's nothing special. I'm just playing, I'm trying out techniques. So I'm really not wanting to use expensive stuff today. Give that a talking of not using expensive stuff, let me show you this. Now, I think, what's the word? Barron. This is called a Barron, and they're great for putting pressure and smoothing things out, rubbing them down. There are some absolutely beautiful handmade ones of these that you can buy, which are stunning. They are expensive. This, Mr. Gem's quite handy and creative actually. He cut a circle here, and this is like a doorknob or a drawer knob, a fancy one. He put those together for me. I've stuck a thick pad of felt underneath. It does exactly the same thing. I've got another one. Again, homemade circle of wood with a drawer knob and a thick pad of felt. There we go. All right, I'm going to swap these over again. I hope this doesn't confuse you too much. Now, what colour do we want on here? I think I'm going to go for a bit of a mixture. That's called rose red, that colour, although it sort of reminds me of a magenta pink. And a bright yellow, and this one is an orange, which I think is quite runny, so I'm just going to put a little bit and see. Yeah, let's see how we go with those. We might need a little bit more. Going to add a little bit more of that yellow to the middle there. See if we can get a little bit more of that orange on. Really going for kind of an ombre effect here. Let's see how that goes. So this was our first one, just a warm up, very simple. Can you see the metallic green coming through in the light there? Look at that. Great little background piece. And with these, you know, when you're creating gel prints like this, don't forget you can always add stamping or mark making over the top when you're wanting to use them. But you know, actually that one I love, and I would use that just as it is. There we go. So there's our first one for the day. All right, I'm going to stick with that yellow that I've been using. I've also got here another orange, and this isn't, it's an iridescent orange, and if you have a look, it's got sort of metallic shades that come through, and I love using these on the gel plate. Got to be honest and say these are not expensive ones. These iridescent ones came in a little set. They're from a shop called Kmart. I know you can get those in Australia and in New Zealand. They're not top quality, but you know what, when you're just playing on the gel plate like this, they're great. My brayer is sticking there. What's happening? I've got something on it. Right, let's sort that out. Okay, I don't want to take too much of that off. Alright, so I'm going to go back to using these as stamps or mark making tools. And look at that. That's quite interesting, isn't it? That was there. Okay, I'm just trying to space those evenly. Okay. I'm going to leave that at that and let that dry, and then we'll add another layer and we'll take some more off as well. Or do I want to do a little bit more? I'm just thinking. Oh look, that's about the same size. Okay, let's see how that first one dried that we used the onion net on. Oh my goodness, look at this. Oh. Wow, there you go. That's got quite dark in places, hasn't it? But you know what? I don't dislike that. I think, you know, you think that's just an onion bag that would have normally been thrown away that we've used to create a stencil. I might try that again. I really like that effect. Now this is, the paint on there is dry, so hopefully that's not going to come off. So all I did was literally stretched it and pushed it down so that it's stuck. It's not going to do it again now, is it? Of course not. There we go, so I have pushed that down quite firmly. Alright, so I've pulled that one. Yeah, as I say, not my absolute favourite, but again, you know, can be cut up into pieces for collage fodder, or can be used as backgrounds. You know, put some mark making on top, it'll be fine. I think, what do I think? I think it might have been my colour choice there, and I wish I hadn't done the bigger circles, taking all of the paint off. But anyway, you know, hey, it's all about playing, it's all about learning. Right, I need to clean my little 5x7 plate up. And rather than just wipe all this paint off, what am I going to do? Let's use it. I'm thinking. Do you know, I'm going to go back to that yellow again. I like this yellow. It's a nice, bright, happy colour. And goodness knows we need a bit of that in the world at the moment, don't we? Do you know what? Where has it gone? I'm going to use a little bit of this non-slip mat. I don't know whether it'll work. Yeah, might do. Just to stop my little 5x7 plate sliding around. Alright, I've given my big brayer a wash. I think I might have sorted my little one as well. So, given that when I turn this over it looks a little bit sort of camo, I've found this. This is actually a chalk paint, and this is, it's called Chocolate Truffle. And it's sort of a, well, you will see, it's not really beige. It's kind of a reddy browny. Anyway, I thought it would look good. Let's pull it with this. See how we go. A bit more. All right, guys, that's all I've got time for today, but let's have a quick look through what we achieved. Now, I really felt a little bit rusty today. As I say, I haven't had my gel plate out for ages. And I also realised that halfway through the video I'd stopped talking completely. So hopefully by the time you see this, I'll have added some voiceover in as well. My idea was to kind of have a chat with you whilst I was crafting, but my brain obviously can't do those two things together. Anyway, this was our first one that we started with. Look, I'm just going to flick through them, let you have a quick look and see what we achieved. I love the, I'm tilting that one in the light because I love the little glimpses of the metallic green that come through there. I'm really taken with the onion bag. I don't know whether it reminds me of scales or, you know, like mermaid scales or fish skin or what, but that's something that snake skin maybe is something I want to play with a bit more, and I want to see if I can get different patterns by shifting it around a little bit more. I'm going to have a play and see if I can use something like these little clamps to hold it, but I'm a little bit worried about my gel plate. Or I guess the other thing is if I was working just on my desk or the mat, not with paper underneath, I wonder if I could tape it down with masking tape. So that might be something else to try. If you've got an onion bag and want to give it a go, let me know. Anyway, we've got a couple of those. Love this one again with the metallics. Got some bits that got missed here, but you know, with some of these I would cut, if you can imagine, you know, a piece like this. That would make a great background for a journaling card or even a greetings card. You know, a belly band there, anything that you wanted to use it for, really. Now, this was the one that we just pulled quickly because the net moved. And again, if you think about just using pieces like this, great background. All right. Now, when the green gel dried on my little gel plate, it didn't pull up very well, I have to say. But I'm going to show you anyway, you know, because I never pretend everything's perfect. It's not. But again, if you think of a piece like this, I would use that as the background for a tag, you know, maybe a botanical themed tag or a journal card. So again, you know, plenty of uses. And at the end of the day, if you can't use them for anything else, you can rip gel prints up and use them as collage fodder. I do, this one's growing on me, I have to say. It didn't come out quite as I anticipated, but I do quite like it, actually. And it's one of those that I would probably go with a gold gel pen and maybe go around some of these circles with the gold gel pen and add some mark making and things on there. Oh, this one I'm not enamoured with, I have to say. Too much blue, didn't lift enough off. But again, if you think about a piece, you know, like that, it will make a good background for maybe a masculine birthday card, something like that. And again, as I say, and I've said this before, mark make over the top. Use some light colours. I mean, I could see maybe big gold numbers stamped on there or stenciled on. And again, it would lift it. Now, I wanted to try some monochrome, and I'll probably talk about this a bit in the voiceover. And I wanted to try out some of these different textures. I needed about 6 hands, but that's because some of these were quite springy. They weren't sitting flat. But again, this is my idea, is to cut these up and use them. And again, if you look at this piece, imagine kind of big gold numbers stamped on there. I really like that. And I love this bit here, funnily enough, that actually moved a little bit. But I think that is actually really cool. So sometimes, you know, when you've got gel prints like this, use pieces of paper just as I'm doing now. Use them as a viewfinder, and you often find little pieces. So again, like that, little pieces that when you cut them out, or this piece here, when you cut them out, they're great. Take them away from the hole. This one, I wish I'd done it in kind of red and blue or something like that. It reminds me of football and a football net. But anyway, again, it's one that I'll probably add some mark making onto. And you know, it's quite nice. It's not offensive. It's a you know, okay background. Now, this one, I don't know. I'm not keen on this. And it's probably my least favourite of the day. I had too much paint. The yellow and the white, the first layer that I put down, there was too much paint. They didn't merge, and I got more white than yellow, which wasn't what I was hoping for. But that's okay. You know, we live and learn. And again, we can use our little viewfinder trick. And there are probably some bits that we could use there. You know, that piece, you know, that's quite usable. There's probably some other bits that we could pick out too. Gel printing is one of those things you can't guarantee what's going to happen, but sometimes you have wonderful surprises. Look at this. Isn't that cool? And that was done, I've got it hanging up here to dry. That was done just with this piece of lace, and I'll move it so that you can see the lace. And to be honest, this lace has been hanging around for ages because it's just not something that, I think it's probably the colour actually, it's just not something I particularly like. But I was so pleased with how this one came out that after I had finished filming, I actually quickly pulled a couple more. Look at that. That's kind of quite, it's got a bit of gothic vibe, hasn't it? And then I did one more. And believe it or not, this was a purple paint, and when I put the gold behind it, it's gone much more of a burgundy colour. And I think, I mean, there's a bit there that's not so great, but you know, I think it's almost like old wallpaper. So anyway, there we go, guys. Bit of a Sunday chill out session. Hopefully it's, you know, you've picked up some tricks and tips there. It really today was about seeing what I could create with things that were found around the house, things that hadn't cost me any money. So there we go, folks. Have a look round with an open mind and see what you can use. But for now, I'm going to say have a lovely weekend, and I will be back in the week with some more mixed media March. So until then, stay safe, happy crafting, ka kite anō.